Stinger OS now active.
All right. Good evening, everybody. First of all, I'm going to have to apologize. Judging by the reaction on the audio, I have some dishes going on in the background. I normally just try and rinse on its own, but there's a few where I'm like, you know what, this is just the load that's going in the dishwasher. Um, but it seems that gets picked up by the mic. It's a good mic, which has its benefits and drawbacks. Its benefits are that everything gets recorded with a nice, high degree of quality, and its drawback is that everything gets recorded with a nice high degree of quality. So as it happens, this will be a nice little opportunity for me to try and run out the clock a little bit. I have no idea how long that thing runs. I almost never use it. But let me talk a little bit about what this game is, because this just completely came out of the blue for me. And it is a really weird little set of circumstances for something that I should have really known better for. How you doing, Sean Bean? Good to see you. So, Johnny and I were talking about this service that we are both a member of, and it's something that tries to connect sort of content creators with game developers. And I never really used it a lot, but I really did try and make a good go of it, and especially because I would try and pick up like smaller stuff from it. But the problem is, like, the last time I visited it, it had this like little sign up saying it's like, do you like getting free games? Give us a donation so that we can keep doing that. And it really rubbed me the wrong way, because I'm like, this stuff is not, like, this should never be presented as free games. Like, these are keys that are being given to produce coverage for it. Yeah, exactly, Sean. The thing that drives me nuts is that apparently this site's idea of what they do is they get gamers with channels in touch with developers who are looking for coverage, and what they produce are free games, not a sense of obligation or an opportunity to cover this stuff. Like, I've already talked about there was one game which I didn't cover that I took a press key from, and it was because I just simply did not enjoy it, and it would not have been to anyone's benefit that I sit down and play a game I don't enjoy for several hours. But I really do take this kind of stuff seriously. Obviously, Paradox has like a dedicated day, and I realize that like the marginal cost of producing an additional key is effectively zero. There might be, if you're like distributing yourself, some cost in terms of like sending it to somebody, is in terms of like transferring files, or there might be some kind of a limit in terms of how many you can produce, because obviously Steam doesn't want developers like selling Steam keys, too many Steam keys through services that will sort of bypass their 30%. But by and large, it's it's one of these things where, yes, it is true that it doesn't really cost anything, but on the other hand, if you're like picking up a game just so you can play it, not so you can cover it, why don't you just pay for it like everyone else? So like we were kind of complaining a bit about it, and then I thought, it's like, well, you know what, that's not entirely fair. Let me just go and take a quick look at what's in there, because normally when people approach you, it's usually like 9 times out of 10, it's somebody who's just blasted everyone on the platform. Haven't really put a whole lot of thought into the into the connection, and so it's something that's not really relevant to me. I don't really find it particularly interesting, and so I usually just knock the not very interested in it button or anything along those lines. But then I saw this one, and as a bit of introduction, like, there is a game, I'm pretty sure it's by Ambrosia Software, called Uplink, which I really enjoyed. And it's always, the reason I liked it, it's the type of game that I really wish there was more of. More kind of hacking simulators and stuff like that. And there's a really fine line that you draw on those types of games. Uplink worked quite well, in my opinion, because first of all, it's a little science fiction-y, so it's you're able to do some stuff in that which probably doesn't have a very credible um, counterpart in the real world. But it didn't go full Hollywood. So like an example of maybe full Hollywood would be something like System Shock, where you have just this whole virtual reality environment, and it's a really fun, like, gamey way of doing hacking. It's obviously representing something that your character is doing, but you're not really being sold on this fantasy of like, oh yeah, I'm like getting into a computer system and I'm doing things it wasn't intended to do. So I always thought, is like, I wonder if there's like a more hardcore version of Uplink that's ever been made. And there've been a couple, but nothing that really quite like hit the spot for me, or at least I'm unaware of them. I remember there was someone who was in like a chat. They're pretty frequently in a chat for somebody I used to mod for. And it kind of seems like they just ripped off the hacking mini game from Deus Ex and made it like a game. But yeah, nothing that really spoke to me. And then this thing comes out, and it's hitting all the right, it's ticking all the right boxes for me. It seems to be something that is very much grounded in today's headlines, which is appealing. It's by a Canadian company, so I'd actually heard of Allison Smith before because I knew that they did alternate reality games, and I'd heard of The Black Watchman. I've still not played it, and I don't even remember exactly why I never bid on it. It might have been just because I ran out of stuff. I probably would have got it if I knew it was a Canadian developer, because one, I'm very patriotic, but no, two, just Canada makes a lot of really good games. And I also think that it's the sort of subject matter that people who like the Cultist Simulator stuff, and there's a lot of you, will really like, because it has an ARG, which obviously is a feature for at least some Cultist Simulator players that they really like. And it's by its marketing material, it says it's sort of Lovecraftian themed. So again, I was aware of this other game that Allison Smith had made, but I was not aware of exactly kind of how interesting this company was. And a couple of other examples of things that they did. They did the Tender app for the Bloodlines 2 announcement. I believe they did an ARG for The Secret World, which is an MMO I quite enjoyed. Or Secret World Legends, it's called now. My apologies. And then I think they did one for No Man's Sky, which admittedly I haven't put a lot of time in, but K5RTO, maybe The Cool Eagle. There's definitely a couple of other people who have played No Man's Sky and really like it. So this is definitely one where I felt it kind of lived in the intersection of a game that I really want to play. And this really, I haven't done a lot of it. I've actually only done like the very basic tutorial. And then I said, it's like, nope, I'm going to do this. Well, when I took the key, I knew I was going to do it on stream, but I'm like, I'm going to do like the whole thing on stream. Cause like, I was like, yeah, I'm really into this. And yeah, sorry, I totally lost my train of thought. I'm very happy that I got this key. So, Allison Smith, if you ever get to see this, I believe that, by the way, to my understanding, that is the name of the company. I don't know if it's actually the name of the people. Oh, right. There was one other thing. And as another opportunity for me to miss out on this apparently had a very successful Kickstarter. I think they got like twice the amount of money that they were looking for. So at every possible opportunity, the game that I was looking to play, was just waiting there for me to pick it up, and I never got it. That feels very strange, but here we are. So I'm really looking forward to this. One small caution that I'll have: this will also probably be a bit of an indulgent stream for me, because I am doing the tutorial, and the tutorial is reasonably in-depth. Part of this is also because it's really hard for me to remember how to do stuff in games like this if I don't play them regularly. I like this game because it gives you a bunch of real-world links to the concepts behind it, and I've learned stuff that I never knew before, as well as sort of like, oh yeah, that's totally the thing that they're referencing. So that's another feature that I really like about it. And obviously, this is the stuff that gets me into the Paradox games and such. So the deal is this. I'm going to be doing a lot of tutorial content, which I realize is probably not probably not everybody's favorite idea of what like. I know tutorial content is not normally what people want to see for games like this. I think it's engaging enough to keep going. And number two, I'm going to suck at the game if I don't do that. But unless there's a broader consensus around me doing like the web links and things like that, which I think are fascinating, I'm going to keep those to my private play, and I'm only going to do the stuff that's inside the base game. But before we go, Sean Bean SM said, what do you think of the reaction to Kickstarters that become Epic Store exclusives? I think the reaction is largely stupid because I think the majority of gamer opinions are stupid. But in a slightly less inflammatory answer, I think the deal is this. So I back Project Phoenix. Project Phoenix is a game that's probably never going to get made. Phoenix Point. I backed that on Fig. Now, Phoenix Point did offer the offer refunds for people who are really mad about the Epic Store, which seems fair enough. Like, this is definitely, we want to do some goodwill thing. I definitely don't think that Epic is buying up these Kickstarters to try and increase the user base. That seems like a very expensive way for them to do that. My view on it is this: is like, it's totally fine for things like Phoenix Point to take that offer, even if they didn't wind up doing a refund, because in the end, nobody knew the Epic Store was coming, right? So if you say there's going to be a Steam key for the game, that is a commitment that you are making under the understanding that Steam is effectively your only option. I would have a bigger problem if it was like, we're offering GOG keys and, we're not offering them anymore because they're not big enough, or say, we're doing Steam keys, but actually we're going to switch to GOG now because they gave us better terms. And the reason for that is that Steam and GOG were known factors at the time. They're turning around, and it's like, okay, we just finally decided to... I suppose the better terms thing is a slightly different situation, but essentially it's like there's no new information. Having an entirely new platform that comes in with extremely favorable financing terms, and especially when it's a timed exclusive. So Phoenix Point's only going to be on there for 1 year. I just don't think that you can hold those people to a kind of an implied commitment that isn't there. So essentially, people's reaction to this is like, they're still going to get a Steam key, so far as I can tell. Maybe not in the case of Phoenix Point, because it seems like they're basically going to be refunding people who don't want the Epic key. And so I suppose in that case, they're saying it's like, we're not going to meet the requirement of giving you a Steam key for backing this. So if you really don't want your Epic key, you can get the money back and buy it on Steam when you want. I don't 100% sure know exactly what's going on there. But the thing is this: for the current generation of Kickstarters that were started at the time that the Epic Store was not a thing, I think it's completely fine for them to say, yes, we're going to go for one of these timed exclusives on the Epic Store, because nobody could have known. They're essentially acting in good faith. If in future somebody says, okay, we're going to provide you Steam keys, and then, the Epic Store came along and we're going to give you, and we're going to go with them, that's a little bit harder to justify, because in the end, the Epic Store was a known factor. And I have a feeling that probably future Kickstarters are going to be covering those kinds of eventualities. But like, to be completely honest with you, like, this is not new for Kickstarter. I think there's some pretty brutal stuff that's happened in Kickstarter. Like, obviously there's cases of people like just running away with the money. Or then there's cases of like Oculus, where essentially the Kickstarter backers are treated as like the biggest suckers for venture capital funding. Like, there was absolutely no equity provided, and the guy just turns around and sells the thing to Facebook. That sort of stuff I definitely think is I think that sort of stuff is a little bit clearer to say that there's something wrong that's happened. And even then, right, like what do you do if the company turns around and does get an offer to be bought out? I just think there are better ways he could have handled that other than being like, well, I'm going to take the billion. But yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is like people getting mad about game developers who do the thing that's right for the studio, that's right for the project. I mean, keep in mind that Fig has investors in it, people who are Fig, like you have an investor tier. And so in that case, those people have done quite well under that model. I believe they're already getting a return and the game hasn't been released yet. So at this point, then you need to say, it's like, well, what set of backers do we need to appeal to more? Do we appeal to the financial backers who are expecting a return on this, or do we expect the Kickstarter or the Fig backers, the people who just want the base game? So I think kind of moving forward, I suspect a lot of Kickstarters will allow for eventualities like this. Obviously, it's not every day that a new platform comes out with extremely favorable exclusivity deals. But the fact of the matter is like a delay in getting your key when it means that that developer is going to be able to make the game better. I just really find it hard not to. I really find it hard to see it as anything other than a huge overreaction. So, Pac says, strictly speaking, Kickstarter stuff isn't really supposed to give you anything at the end. The reward is meant to be product existing, not. Yeah, exactly. But I know everybody treats it as pre-orders. But anyways, I filibustered long enough. That was a question that came up in chat. So I have already agreed to these things, but Kali Linux is a trademark of offensive security. Visit www.kali.org if you want to become a super cool hacker. And Cobalt Strike is a trademark of Cyber LLC. I actually don't know what Cobalt Strike is, but...
Welcome, Agent.
Oh, is there not a... I thought that there's...
Welcome to Boot Camp, Recruit. I'm Sergeant Wheeler, and I'm here to teach you all you'll...
Hang on, there's like a whole cinematic to this thing, which is apparently missing. I know there's a way for me to reset my campaign progress. Yeah, here we go.
Hive Mind Network Online. Channel 0093. Secure uplink initiated.
Hackers break into financial institutions, cell phone networks, and personal email accounts.
In support of our military and our government.
So we need successful strategy.
We collectively have a long way to go. Build the intelligence capability this country needs for the decade out ahead.
So we need an FTC to follow its statutory authority to protect consumers both online and off.
The program uses facial recognition to constantly monitor citizens.
The United States is aggressively tracking and deterring criminals and terrorists online.
Stinger OS now active.
All right. Once more with feeling.
Welcome, Agent.
Welcome to the Stinger OS. Please visit the Academy to get your first assignment.
Welcome to Boot Camp, Recruit. I'm Sergeant Wheeler, and I'm here to teach you all you'll need to know to become an elite member of our cyber warfare unit. Your recruitment officer told me you've got a decent head on your shoulders, and I'm here to find out whether or not that's an accurate assessment. I sure hope you don't disappoint. We only take the best at Night Team 4. NITE stands for Network Intrusion and Technical Evaluation. Your task is to identify, infiltrate, and gather intelligence from computer systems used by enemies of the Black Watchmen. Governments are short on time and resources, so it's up to us to take action. We address imminent global threats that can't wait for bureaucracy. Because we're a covert organization operating outside the rules of engagement that govern our allies, intelligence agencies around the world seek our help. Before we cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war, you have some training to do. Ready for the challenge? Then let's lock in.
Well, I'm glad to know I've got transcodes at least, Pax. All right. Enroll in the Academy to learn how to use the Stinger OS. Your officers are there to guide you through the certification and teach you about the world of cyber warfare.
Select the Stinger OS Basics certification in the panel on your left. That will bring up an information screen on your right. Then click Access Certification to begin training. Good luck, Recruit.
All right. Stinger OS Basics included training Phase 1 ready, Phase 2, Phase 3. We don't know what any... Well, I know what these are, but...
The Stinger operating system is our own cyber warfare and network intrusion platform. It's a beautiful piece of software, built by combining the most advanced open source hacking modules from civilian and military sources. If you've experienced any penetration testing platforms like Kali or Metasploit, you'll recognize similarities. Zoning out already? Okay, I know most of you have the attention span of a goldfish when it comes to basic training, but mastering this intrusion platform is key to becoming a lethal cyber warfare agent in the field. Ready to get started? Let's familiarize ourselves with the Stinger OS menu. If this takes more than 5 minutes, I'll fire our user interface team. Only kidding, it'll be easier to fire you. Less paperwork. Each certification is broken up into 3 stages, and your objective will automatically update as we progress. Click Initiate Phase 1 on your left panel, and I'll pass you over to one of our agents to take it from here. Dylan's trained many of our recruits, so you're in good hands.
So, Sean Bean, this is a really interesting question because I don't know who the Black Watchmen are. The Black Watchmen is actually the first game, so far as I can tell, by this company. To my understanding, you are generally working on the side of law enforcement, or at least sort of nations, and essentially you are doing the things that normally the laws don't allow you to do TM. So here's the thing. Again, this is one feature I love about this game, the real life references. So this Goldfish attention span article is pretty fun, but the Kali pen test platform Metasploit framework, you actually get to find out a little bit about the material that is sort of the inspiration for this game. So obviously one of the things that's really cool about this game, and in my opinion at least, is that obviously you have sort of these visual elements which are there to make the game look interesting and won't necessarily be a feature of maybe a standard tool. Like obviously for those of you who are programmers, a lot of the tools that you'll use to run code or do things are not very exciting. So like Git is something that everybody uses, but it is a command line tool. GCC does not have like motion graphics to make it look awesome and things like that. And when I worked in television, same deal, right? Like whenever there was a hacking scene, there would be something that some guy had made in like Flash or something like that they just play on the screen because you want to have something cool to look at. Although I will say Parrot OS is like a really beautiful interface. But the thing that's nice, they've got this nice little blend where it's a visually interesting game, but it hasn't completely abstracted away everything. And one of the ways that it keeps bringing you back to the real world is to actually say, hey, you think we just made this thing up? Click this link and go check it out. So,
Com check 1127. Hey, this is Agent Dylan. I'll be your wingman during training. Word of advice, it's always the know-it-alls who make the biggest mistakes. We can't afford mistakes, so keep a level head. As Wheeler explained, you're starting basic and building up from there. Go to the information gathering menu on your left and launch the fingerprint module. Drag the window around a bit and complete the test by typing the command help. Easy, right?
Stinger OS is an advanced hacking platform designed specifically for cyber warfare. You have access to a complete suite of military-grade hacking tools through this menu. All right. I suspect for the main mission, I haven't actually done a main mission yet, but I have a feeling it's not going to give me the step-by-step and like it does in the tutorial, so I need to try and wean myself off of relying on this too much.
Information gathering module initiated.
Host Fingerprint version 1.3. This module executes an array of attack strategies to help you identify the technology, software, sitting at the receiving end of a specific open port. Fingerprint starts by doing a full port scan on the designated target. As soon as an open port is detected, it will inject a series of commands and probes to identify the technology behind it. If the installed technologies and versions are present in the exploit database, it will be flagged as vulnerable. Example, fingerprint extranet.newsstreamlive.ca will try to identify the type of technologies behind any active port for the subdomain extranet.newsstreamlive.ca. Run help command to display a detailed explanation of this command. So, first it wants me to drag the window around. I have succeeded. And then type help command in one of the windows and hit enter. Now, before I do that, I want to actually see fingerprint extranet.newsstreamlive.ca if it's going to tell me to do this. And whose law packs? Well, this is the big so far as I can tell, this this organization isn't necessarily tied to one particular government, so I suspect it would be the law. So like in both Canada and the US, there are some specific rules in terms of what you like. So there's signals intelligence, but there are some very specific rules in terms of who you are allowed. So like, for instance, the United States, they can't take a phone recording of an American citizen. However, what happens if that citizen is on the phone with somebody outside of the U.S., like somebody who is actually of interest to these agencies? So far as I can tell, the NSA is actually allowed to collect that. So, yeah. But of course, I suspect that will not be a problem in this one because we are a member of a super elite team who does all the dirty work. Anyways, help fingerprint, because I don't know what to do with any of this yet. Training completed. Help fingerprint. Fingerprint injects a series of commands on open ports of a designated target and identify the technology behind it. Parameters: target, server IP, or subdomain name. And in this case here, apparently this version of SharePoint is fine, but this version of SharePoint is vulnerable. So back to certification.
Excellent! You can listen and follow basic orders. That's not as common as you'd imagine. The Stinger OS lets you access resources from other divisions within the Black Watchman. Division 40 is in charge of IMINS, the Imagery Intelligence section, and MASINS, the Measurement and Signature Intelligence. They provide you with satellite feeds and drone coverage during operations. You can access these services at the bottom of your screen. Division 40 is the fourth icon from the left. Click it and enter the following coordinates: 38 latitude, minus 77 longitude. Once you activate the satellite, click the back to globe link to end your task.
Out of curiosity, guys, just before I go too much further, how do you guys feel about me checking out these real-life references? Would you prefer to see more of the game, or do you want me to actually go down the rabbit hole of what some of this other stuff is? All right. In the meantime, I'll do this mission, but I'd be curious to know how you guys feel about it. Your Stinger OS also have a collection of background processes and external services that you can leverage during your missions. You can quickly access specific interfaces like the drone and imagery intelligence through the menu at the bottom of your screen.
Drone and imagery intelligence active.
It was like 38 and negative 77, I think. Hey, Mom!
Nice! Before completing the certification, I want you to check out your agent profile. It's at the top left of your Stinger OS. Change your avatar and return here to finish this certification.
Obviously, fashion is very important, so... I think this is because I played earlier. And... oh, so many choices. This has to be intentionally a play on Huawei. I do kind of like the default one. But this reminds me of the HAL 9000, so... oh, and apparently I need to... yeah, there we go. Hard to say, tangents and digressions run through your veins, so it's definitely within my wheelhouse, but at the same time, there is a game to be played. I think doing the tutorial, it would at least be best to show the actual gameplay so you don't have huge distractions. Well, okay, that's fine. Okay, first one's down. Now, basic OSINT.
I'm impressed. Agent Dillon seems keen to train you. He must see some potential. Alright, you've completed your first certification. You have another 29 left. You don't need to do it all, but if you are curious, you're welcome to dive in. Not all certifications are about command lines and typing text. Our work also involves other forms of investigation like digital forensics or signal intelligence. We'll learn them soon enough, but you have to master the command line first. It's a standard weapon and a valuable one. Some of this may already be familiar, but it never hurts to recap. Let's start with OSINT. Open Source Intelligence is the act of gathering intel from public data. Regardless of the nature of your target, there's a strong likelihood they've left a mark somewhere on the internet. Collecting all this public information lets you map a target's network infrastructure and identify its point of vulnerability. Your first certificate will focus on domain name reconnaissance. Domain names save us from having to memorize IP addresses. All we need to do is type in a domain name to retrieve a website or access a service. These domain names are managed by a domain name server, or DNS for short. That's great for us because we can extract data about our targets from these servers. Agent Dylan will show you how to find domain and subdomain names, even if the target didn't intend to make the information public.
Man, I love this part. It's fun to see what you newbies are made of and separate the wheat from the chaff. Right, domain name reconnaissance. You'll need the DNS and vhost mapping module, which you'll find in the information gathering menu. The first command you've got to learn is the sfuzzer. sfuzzer launches a good old-fashioned dictionary attack against the domain name, trying thousands of the most common subdomains used on the net. If you sfuzz a domain name like night-team4.com, the dictionary will first try the obvious www before moving on to other subdomains like mail, FTP, or extranet.night-team4.com. Each time a domain name answers positively to an sfuzzer request, it will show as active. Since that's all automated, you just need to decide how long to run the dictionary attack. The longer you run it, the more words it tries, and the more potential access points you gain. Remember, the attack always starts with the most common words. 10 to 20 seconds is a good enough benchmark for easy targets. Well, what are you waiting for? You're the one who needs to get certified, not me. Open that DNS and vhost module and launch a 10-second dictionary attack on the domain name night-team4.com. If you get stuck, follow the instructions on the terminal.
Information gathering module initiated.
DNS and vhost mapping version 1.1. This module is a recon and mapping tool designed to help you discover a target's subdomain and its DNS configurations. These tools are here to help you map out the target's exposed online services. sfuzzer uses a dictionary attack strategy to find common subdomains and possible variations of a target. Example, www.forums.intranet.etc. or etc. No. Using a distributed proxy network, the tool processes an average of 150 attacks per second on a specific domain name and its servers. You can define the duration of the attack as a parameter. Example, sfuzzer newsstreamlive.ca-t15 executes a 15-second dictionary attack on the domain name newsstreamlive.ca. OSINT scan uses a public search engine database to discover existing subdomains. Using various query strategies, it will find all index pages and reconstruct the target's subdomain configuration. OSINT scan processes 100 search engine results every 5 seconds. You can define the depth of the research as a parameter. Example, OSINT scan newsstreamlive.ca-s google.com-d500. Search any trace of newsstreamlive.ca subdomain in Google's database with the scan limit set to the 500 first results. Run help command to display detailed explanation of the use of these commands and their parameters. So we said we needed to do an sfuzzer on night-team4.com, and it has to be for 10 seconds. Amazing.
Another way of finding domain names is through a search engine's database, like Google, Yahoo, Bing, and the likes. Ask Jeeves isn't as useful anymore. Sometimes a search engine will accidentally index a private subdomain because of an oversight, leaked reference, or careless third party. We're here to take advantage of that mistake. I want you to use the OSINTScan command on night-team4.com and specify a database to look through. To look through Google database, you will type -s google.com. To ask for the first 500 results in the search engine, you simply add -d 500. So, your final command will be OSINTScan -s google.com -d 500. If you get stuck, The instructions should help.
All right. So one thing I like about this is it's removed kind of the colored references. So at this point, you should know what window you're bringing up. Obviously, you can check out the info here, but it's just one little touch that I quite like in terms of teaching people how to play the game. Now it was OSINT scan. It was 19.4 again, right? Nobody picks Bing. How are you doing, Ego Karen? I'm having a good one. I'm playing a game. I'll call it a new game because it's new to me. This is called 19.4 by Alice and Smith, and it's a Canadian company. It's a really cool looking game. I don't know how well I stream it because obviously I only have my voice and there's a lot of text on the game. But then I figure if you all like Cultist Simulator, you probably can handle some text.
Excellent work! You know what you have now? The expertise to quickly identify potential entry points in an enemy network. You have the keys to their house. Of course, once you're inside the house, you'll need a new strategy. There's one last trick to the OSINT scan command. Sometimes a server can host multiple domains. Though one domain could be protected, another could be vulnerable. IP addresses are unique numbers that identify internet servers, and if you search by IP, you'll find all domains and subdomains present on that server. This doesn't just locate entry points. It helps discover links between organizations, like a supplier or a sister company that shares the same server. Right, let's finish up. Execute an OSINT scan on our IP address, 98.124.199.93.
Oh, that sounds like a good evening, Ego Karen. I suppose it'd be more on brand if you were playing Netrunner, though, rather than MTG.
Information gathering module initiated.
98, 124, 199, 93. Hey, they want to use Bing now. Did I do something wrong?
Information gathering.
Maybe it's because I used the number pad.
Initiated.
Okay, so we can do Advanced OSINT or Fingerprint. I think in this case we'll just carry on with Advanced OSINT and then move on. So
You're almost there. Only a few more steps until we give you access to more powerful modules. We need to know you're comfortable with a sidearm before handing you a grenade launcher. So let's finish the basics. This next certificate covers Advanced OSINT tactics.
Netrunner's, I think, a really good game.
Time to play around with the tools you've learned. I've set up various subdomains on 194.com, and I want you to test out different S-Fuzzer dictionary attacks. You'll notice contrasting results between a 5-second attack and a 20-second one. Follow the objectives to complete the task.
Okay, so this is going to be a little bit more of the same. I kind of figured it would be better to get this out of the way now. So, team4.com, it was a 5-second one, right? Yeah, the thing I like about thing that's nice about Netrunner is the asymmetry, and then it's just an interesting setting. Even if you're playing the original, which was set in Cyberpunk 2020, which is obviously the setting for the new game that everybody's really excited about, or there's also the Fantasy Flight setting, which was previously what was that was the newest iteration, although it's now since folded. But the Android setting, both of them are different, but both of them are really interesting in their own rights.
Now, I want you to see the difference between an S-fuzzer and OS int scan attack. Run both a 15-second S-fuzzer and a 500 deep OS int scan against nightteam4.com.
Okay, so now we're seeing the difference between the two different attacks. So it'll be kind of interesting to see if we get all 4 results. We should, because this one took 15, but okay, and then wait a minute. It's S-fuzzer and OS. So we found www.19forum.com, HiveMind, test, and server, and here we found test server code in Apache. So we found some things that don't exist on Google, but we also found some things that weren't in the dictionary attack. Presumably Apache is not... Oh, that's kind of interesting, actually, that wouldn't be higher in a dictionary. Apparently HiveMind is more commonly used than Apache. And code, for that matter. Huh.
Excellent! Time for a little test. I've hidden the subdomain forums.nightteam4.com. Use what you've learned so far to find it. It may be a long S-fuzzer or a really deep OS int scan. You might also find it in another search engine's database. Despite what their marketing team says, Google isn't the only one out there. Go for it. Okay,
so I'm going to take this as a big signal to do the OS int first. So scan, and it's a D, right. So S Bing, and then we'll double the depth. Yeah. Okay, fingerprint.
Look how far you...
Oh.
Time to learn more about our target.
Let's try that again.
Look how far you've come. Glad to see your recruitment officer was right. It won't be long until we turn you into an excellent agent. Okay, back to work. After you find a network's footprint, you'll need to scan for applications or services which are running on the server. Once you identify them, you'll want to search for any known vulnerabilities you can exploit. Services on a server need to communicate with the internet through a port. In the same way as when browsing the web, your browser connects to an application server via the default port 80. Scanning every possible port is a laborious process, but the Stinger OS comes with a distributed proxy network, using hundreds of servers to return results in seconds. Let's see how well you can find an open port and identify its running software. Agent Dylan will guide you through the explanation.
So, similar idea here. There's plenty of references to check out if you want to find out how to do these terrible things to other people. Oh, I also neglected to... Okay, so I shut up Agent Dylan, unfortunately. Oh, never mind.
Time to learn more about our target. Fingerprint commands are pretty straightforward. To scan the www subdomain, type fingerprint www.nightteam4.com. You can enter this command in any terminal to automatically launch the fingerprint module. Also, you can launch the terminal via your information gathering menu. I've put the exact command in your certification objective, so make sure you follow the objectives.
Okay.
Information gathering module initiated.
This module executes an array of attack strategies to help you identify the technology software sitting at the receiving end of a specific open port. Fingerprint starts by doing a full port scan on the designated target. As soon as an open port is detected, it will inject a series of commands and probes to identify the technology behind it. Excuse me. If the installed technologies and versions are present in the exploit database, it will be flagged as vulnerable. Example, fingerprint extranet.newsstreamlive.ca will try to identify the type of technologies behind any active port for the subdomain extranet.newsstreamlive.ca. So, print nightteam4.com. Whoop, pring, nice. Fingerprint. Ultimate hacking organization still cannot overcome the odd fat finger. Found something. I did read that before as well, my bad. Okay, so it found one thing, but it's up to date.
As you can see, we're running an Apache server on port 80 for our website. Simple stuff, and thankfully, the fingerprint module didn't identify any vulnerabilities. Can't have the public face of our organization vulnerable to attack. Anyway, a fingerprint works by testing hundreds of requests for a specific technology and recording the software version that's running, along with its known vulnerabilities. Go ahead and run another fingerprint, this time on test.nightteam4.com. I've set the subdomain up specifically for you.
All right. Looks like we found 3. And still nothing new.
You'll now realize it's possible for a domain name to have multiple ports. In this case, none of them are vulnerable, but I'm going to give you access to a vulnerable technology. I want you to target the subdomain server.nightteam4.com with your fingerprint module.
All right, fingerprint server night. I wonder if it's going faster because they know that we've kind of sat through this a couple of times. So, okay, apparently if any of you are running MySQL 5521, I'm about to hack the crap out of you.
With information on your target's domain, subdomain, port, and software, you can now determine the best way to infiltrate their network. The fingerprint tool may flag up vulnerable technology, but you still need to know how to exploit that weakness. Your Stinger OS has a built-in database of all known exploits. Each one has a unique CVE number, short for Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures. The database is funded by our friends at the Department of Homeland Security, so feel free to send them a thank you card later. A CVE record from our exploit database includes everything you need to reproduce or even automate the attack process. It's like your very own version of the Anarchist Cookbook. Knock yourself out.
So that answers partly your question, Sean Bean, that there's at least some level of... Well, I mean, so this might just be a reference to like a publicly available resource, but at least in this case here, there's some at least minor hint that Homeland Security is not an impediment to their operations.
Let's start with a normal attack vector. Pull up your DNS and vhost mapping and fingerprint modules to find a vulnerable technology on the domain freekevin.net.
I wonder if that's Kevin Mitnick. I should be able to find that out, actually. I'm just going to go to my browser here. Apparently it doesn't exist. I don't remember if I'm supposed to... Right, okay, so...
Information gathering module.
Oh no, hang on.
Initiated.
I don't think this is sufficient. I think I actually need to find a port.
Information gathering module Initiated.
You know, I never thought of it that way, Rob Stark, but you're right. It does actually look quite familiar to BattleTech. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze and I don't want to blast the mic, so just 1 second. Excuse me. All right, so this we should be able to find some kind of a vulnerability on.
Information gathering module initiated.
Okay. Okay, they're up to date, so... betcha it's going to be the last one, just to try and reinforce that you potentially need to do a deeper search. Yeah, well, I can shut up now. Alright, so 8082 has a vulnerability for SharePoint. Whoops.
Well done! Let's see what we can learn about the vulnerabilities. Open your exploit database module in the information gathering menu, then type the command searchsploit SharePoint-2007 to bring up the CVE vulnerability record.
Information gathering module initiated.
Exploit database version 1.0 using the command searchsploit. This module searches for any record of a known exploit specific to a technology and its version. Your exploit database can be improved over time by trading intel with other factions and organizations. Aha! I'm assuming this is a 0 day, I think is the term. If during a mission you find a new way of manually hacking a technology, it will be saved in the exploit database and can be later used as an automated script by the Fox Acid server. I believe Fox Acid is a real thing, by the way. Example, searchsploit SharePoint 2007 will look for any known exploit that impacts version 2007 of the SharePoint framework. CVE 2010-3964, unrestricted file upload vulnerability in the document conversions launcher service in the Microsoft Office SharePoint Server 2007 Service Pack 2. When the document conversions load balancer service is enabled, allows remote attackers to execute arbitrary code via a custom SOAP request to TCP on port 8082, aka a malformed request code execution vulnerability. Preferred delivery method TCP/IP, exploit to use custom SOAP request. Some of you will know what that means, I don't.
Awesome! Let's go for one more exploit with the command searchsploit CRM 4.0. Then we can launch into the juicy stuff. Network intrusion.
This guy's such a nerd. Whoops.
Information gathering module initiated.
Is it CRM? Yeah. This module exploits a stack buffer overflow in the CRM's RPCSS service or RPC listener via DCOM. Custom crafted SOAP request can execute code via UDP. This vulnerability was originally found by the last stage of Delirium Research Group and has been widely exploited ever since. This module can exploit the English versions of Windows NT 4.0 Service Pack 3-6A, Windows 2000, Windows XP, and Windows 2003 all in one SOAP request. Newer versions of Microsoft products may not be protected against it. Preferred delivery method UDP, exploit to use custom SOAP request. Oh my god, we're level 2! Alright. They told us it was going to be it was going to be the fun stuff, so.
Well, recruit. Looks like you're about to complete basic terminal operations. what better way to end than a chance to play with the infamous Fox Acid server? Developed by the NSA for their tailored access operations unit, Fox Acid orchestrates automated exploits with multiple applications. The original version was mostly used for inbound queries. A visitor had to call the Fox Acid server to get infected. Our upgrade comes with thousands of outbound automated exploit scripts, so we can now actively attack a target instead of waiting for them to come to us. Civilian tools like Armitage are also useful, but our version is a lot more powerful. For now, we'll give you access to basic scripts and exploits. Your task is to infect the cyberdynegroup.net and install the After Midnight rootkit. This is a small footprint, kernel space, persistent rootkit that will provide backdoor access to their network. After this task, you will complete basic terminal operations. Then, you can move into advanced training or take on your first official mission. Good luck.
You're almost done. You know the drill. Find a vulnerable entry point for the domain cyberdynegroup.net. Follow the instructions in your objective.
All right. Let's see if we can do this without, well, it's going to tell us to look at this stuff anyway, but I'm going to do my best to do this from,
Information gathering module.
not memory, but like do this without prompting.
Information gathering module initiated.
Okay. We might start Judgment Day with this. You never know. Okay, the Cisco VPN client is vulnerable, so we can get rid of this now.
Information gathering module initiated.
Right. The Cisco VPN client 5 through 50070 uses weak permissions for VPN client.ini, making it easy to spoof, which allows local users through a UDP delivery to gain privileges by entering an arbitrary program name in the command field for the application launcher section. Preferred delivery method UDP, exploit to use content spoofing. Although I probably was a little premature. Yeah, we already did that.
Now, launch the exploit database and find the CVE record for the vulnerable technology.
I wonder if it won't count it because I haven't. Yeah. So this is, I am slightly curious. Do I open?
Information gathering module initiated.
You already have an instance of this module in your workspace. Stinger OS will allow you to have multiple instances of the same module in the same workspace. Remember that you can always switch from one window to another, drag your windows to rearrange them, or organize your workspace as you wish. Okay, cool. I think it's still going to want me to actually do the, yeah. Cisco VPN client, yeah.
This is it, the final stage of your basic training. Open your Fox Acid server and enter all the attack parameters you saw in the CVE records. Take your time and make sure you've got the attack parameters on the left and the target parameters on the right. When you're ready, click in the center to launch the attack. This will deploy your After Midnight rootkit and install a Turbine C2 card, giving you full backdoor access to their network. Ready? Next time I speak to you, you'll be geared up for the big guns. Damn, I feel proud. I can't wait to hear Wheeler certify you. Now go ahead and finish what you started.
Okay.
Fox Acid server connection initiated.
Enter the delivery mentioned in the exploit database module Cisco VPN client. So UDP. Content spoofing. And after midnight. There are 4 known vulnerabilities. I didn't know that, but...
Fox acid attack launched. Fox acid attack successful.
You can filter Turbine C2 network cards by toggling the 4 categories at the top of the screen. You can also search by name or address. Presumably we'll do that later, though. Okay, so we've got our first mission. I'm not actually going to go into it right away because I believe there's some other material that I need to do in, like, to kind of figure out my way through the game. So we are going to be doing a few more tutorials. I apologize in advance. I think this stuff is...
To whom it may concern, it is with great pleasure that I, Sergeant Catherine Wheeler, recommend Agent 7491 for the rank of Security Analyst Level 1. After successfully completing the basic terminal operations training with speed and finesse, this agent is now ready for active duty. I hereby request that we grant access to our Advanced Training Certification and Mission Center. I stand in strong belief that Agent 7491 will be a reliable addition to our organization and wish them a long and successful career in the agency. Respectfully, Sergeant Catherine Wheeler.
So I am going to keep going through the academy. Just personally, I find this stuff really interesting. I do actually take a lot of time reading the web links and that, which I won't do here. But I'm going to take a quick minute just to get a bit of a view in terms of what we're eventually going to get into. So story mode, time to put your skills to the test. Start your main mission here by completing various operations around the globe using what you've learned from the academy. We need you, agent. Make us proud. Open world. Open world missions are optional assignments for agents looking for a bigger challenge. You'll need to venture outside the Stinger OS in order to investigate and come back to execute your attacks. Complete these challenges for special rewards. So given what I know a little bit about the company behind this game, I suspect this is something where you actually go out and find real things in the world that you use as information to put into your the completion of your mission, a little bit like the Secret World did. And then bounties. Bounties are special requests made by various intelligence agencies around the world. Complete these missions to forge your reputation and earn unique rewards for your Stinger OS. Make sure to return periodically for new missions, agent. I am really looking forward to trying these out, but again, we gotta start small. Yeah, so we finished that. Digital forensics.
Welcome to Advanced Training. These certifications are not mandatory but can vastly improve your effectiveness during active missions. Your eagerness to better yourself has been noted. Keep it up. As a Night Team 4 agent, there's more to the job than just wreaking havoc inside a target's network. Collecting data from a compromised network can often mean life and death for our field agents. The information gathered is invaluable to the success of the mission. The following set of certifications will focus on digital forensics, the branch of forensic science focused on recovering and investigating intel found electronically. We're going to start simple. Agent Dillon will introduce you to your Stinger OS file browser. Then you'll move on to advanced modules, whose abilities will likely cause you to lose a night or two of sleep.
Already done.
Well, look who's now a security analyst. Can't wait to upgrade your clearance level. Alright, let's make it happen. Your Stinger OS comes with a file browser that automatically detects a host protocol on Linux or Windows. As long as you've got the necessary credentials, you can log in and browse a target's user files and folders. I've set up a shared folder on my local computer so you can familiarize yourself with the tool. Start by launching the password attack module to brute force my account. The module is in your network intrusion menu. In a future certification, I'll bring you up to speed on dictionary attacks and hash cracking, but for now, just use these parameters. The target URL is ftp.nightteam4.com, and my username is dvorhees. That's Delta Victor, Oscar Oscar, Romeo Hotel, Echo Echo Sierra. After the password attack interface is loaded, select the dictionary John the Ripper and click Start to launch the attack.
This is a real tool, by the way. I always thought that was a really cool name for a program, too. The Turbine C2 registry is a list of all the backdoor connections you have delivered and secured using the Fox Acid server.
Turbine C2 registry initiated.
What was I looking for again? Right.
Connection completed.
Open the network intrusion menu. Password attack, I guess? Yeah.
Password attack and intrusion module initiated. Target acquired. Awaiting variables to launch attack.
So we just select eHarmony? I'm mildly curious about these alternatives.
Password successfully compromised.
It's Jason. Oh, actually, you get an achievement for that. That's kind of funny.
Awesome! You found my super secret password. Looks like I'll have to update my AOL login info. Now, connect to my computer and download the personnel NT4 files in my user directory. My computer IP is 192.168.1.5. The file browser module is in the data forensics menu.
So all we need to do is get ISIS to tell us their IP addresses and we're good. All right. Easy enough.
Gaining access to a target's network not only allows you to dig around their computer, you can also plant malware or even compromising evidence within their system. It's an effective means of gaining leverage and control over your target. Plus, it's fun. To finish the certification, plant the file Bank of China Savings Account in my user directory. You'll need to navigate to my Documents folder and upload the file by double-clicking it in the Delivery Package panel.
Oh, okay. That's a little funny they don't just keep the window open like the other time, but I guess it makes sense that I need to... And they said root directory, right? Oh, but it'd have to be, yeah. What does it say, though? Oh, yeah, I'm downloading it again. Cool. Okay, so that was fairly straightforward. Maybe I didn't need to do that, but... Oh no, we still have more, so...
You now have the means to covertly browse a target's documents and sensitive data, which is useful, but often the important information is hidden in vast amount of data. It's far too time-consuming to sift through it all manually. Luckily, our friends at the NSA gave us access to X-Keyscore, an advanced server grid that gathers and analyzes millions of data points in mere seconds. When you're searching for a needle in the haystack, X-Keyscore is like a powerful magnet. As a Level 1 security analyst, your access to military and civilian surveillance data is very limited, but you can use X-Keyscore to identify specific patterns in any data sources you yourself find during missions. Agent Dylan will demonstrate what you can get out of X-Keyscore at your current clearance level.
Okay, let's see.
X-Keyscore. You're going to grow to love this thing. Does most of the heavy lifting for us. Trust me, it saves a ton of time and effort. X-Keyscore is the last icon at the bottom of your screen, the one that looks like an eye. The interface is super simple. When you import data points into XKeyscore, it analyzes and tags them as organizations and individual entities, or else data sources, for things like bank accounts, financial transactions, or traffic cams. I've loaded 2 entities into your database. Drag and drop them in the center of the screen and select the IDs and records pattern. This will task XKeyscore to find any official records connecting the entities. To run the query, click on the play icon in the lower center of the screen.
All right, I'm probably going to need the tutorial to guide this because I wasn't 100% sure on how that works. Your XKeyscore Forensics module grants you access to investigation tools that enable you to link multiple entities and see what binds them.
XKeyscore Forensics initiated.
Drag and drop Dylan Voorhees. Drag and drop the Night Team 4 entity. Okay. Run the query and open Dylan's employee records. Oh, I get what this is. Okay, this is actually kind of neat. Holy crap, he looks a lot like Octavian Zero for those of you who watch him. I'm sure they get the advanced access is maybe paid DLC. No, it's not paid DLC. Oh, there is DLC for this, but I'm assuming that you gain further access as you advance through the game, or what we see is what we get. Okay, let's zoom in on this magic and see this guy. Agent Division 88, American, 4 years of service, started 2018. He's single, ladies. Classified, family. Graduated from Goddard High School with a GPA of 3.5. Graduated in 2009. Belleville University has a BS in cybersecurity. Graduated 2015. Was in the Army, achieving the rank of lieutenant with an honorable discharge. Served in Iraq with no confirmed kills. Agent Voorhees is an experienced cybersecurity and network intrusion expert. Before entering the agency, Voorhees served as a junior officer in the U.S. Army, stationed in Iraq. Upon returning to the U.S., Voorhees quickly excelled in the field of corporate cybersecurity until he was recruited by Agent Grisha. He is now an active Night Team 4 agent and an instructor for new recruits. City of Goddard Pool. He was a lifeguard. NetSecure in Omaha as a security analyst, and Dormouse Investments, classified agents, and reports directly to Division. Okay, so Dormouse Investments is the front that he's working for, presumably.
That's me. Hard to think I could be such a skilled hacker and such a handsome devil. Some of us just have it all, I guess. Now let's add Wheeler as a third entity. Try to find something that connects all 3.
Oh, so this is okay. Actually, I kind of see where this is going. So this is going to be a little bit like a detective game.
XKeyscore Forensics initiated.
Okay, let's find out about Wheeler. Important individuals, Catherine Wheeler. Okay, Catherine Wheeler, archivist, active, Division 66 HQ, American, 4 years of service. No word as to if she is attached or has a family. South Eugene High School, 4.0 GPA, graduated 2005. Then went to Cambridge, studied history, graduated 2010. Master's Studies in History, specialization theology. University of Cambridge, graduated in 2012. What? I'm not quite sure how that works. Did not serve in the military. Sergeant Wheeler is an experienced archivist, researcher, classified and classified. Wheeler was recruited directly from the University of Cambridge to take control of the Division 66 archives. She was promoted to sergeant in March of 2012 after the incident. Voodoo Donuts in Eugene, U.S. counterstaff, University of Cambridge, researcher, and then Dormouse Investments, again, a front. Oops. And then
XKeyscore Forensics initiated.
Agent Dylan under Sergeant Wheeler's command. Agent, your request for transfer has been granted by Division 66. You are now a member of Night Team 4, Section 8, under the direct command of Sergeant Catherine Wheeler. You are to report to her once you receive your orders. Your previous CO, Sergeant Furness, has been notified of your transfer. Agent Lawson, Employee Relations, Division 54. Hello, the Cool Eagle. This is a really interesting game. I am quite attracted to it because it's by a Canadian developer called Allison Smith. They have done a game called The Black Watchman, which is apparently an ARG with Lovecraftian themes. I unfortunately have not played it, but based on how interesting this game is, I might actually go and check it out again. I think they have a demo, so I'll maybe take that up. I am going through it relatively slowly, but basically this is a...
Great job! I've reset your entities and loaded up an investigation scenario. Find a connection between Sigil and the Black Watchman. Any new entities you discover will automatically be added to your X key score database.
Hello, Smur. But yeah, so it's filling this gap that I sort of feel there is of a really good sort of hacking game that doesn't go full Hollywood, but also doesn't completely make it just some tedious command line interaction. By the way, guys, I'm going to take a quick minute here and shout out the Cool Eagle. He's lately been playing Prison Architect, so I believe he is now a more hardcore Paradox game player than I am at this point. But a couple of people were mentioning the BattleTech layout, and obviously there's a little bit of a passing resemblance to it in here. But definitely want to encourage you guys to check him out because he is a very friendly guy, a lot of fun to hang around with, and is actually, I wanted to quickly comment, has got... It's not just that he has a growing channel, he is notably grown, and partly this is through some collaborations this has done. I think this is just through more people sort of noticing him, but it's always been a big pleasure. Like, I can remember way back, I think one of the first times I hosted him was we were both doing a new Stellaris patch, and I think I specifically hosted him because I think he was like the smallest person I saw on the list. And of course now it's like, if I get a host from Cool Eagle, it's like, oh, okay, well, this just like tripled the size of my audience or something like that. So if you guys want to jump on the bandwagon for something popular, the Cool Eagle is definitely somebody who has been growing in terms of his channel. So you feel sad not knowing about this game. You're looking for a game like this. Also try the Black Watchman. Nice problem-solving game. So this is by the same company. They did a Kickstarter for this apparently. But yeah, I completely didn't notice it before. But it's really cool that you play the Black Watchman because I'm definitely intrigued having played this. Okay, where were we? X key score.
X key score forensics initiated.
Let's reset this. No, I can only put 3 in. Oh, so maybe I can only test this. Actually, yeah, this probably makes a little more sense that I find their individual connections to the Black Watchman. Oscar O'Brien mission reports. Email exchange between Morpho Trader Oscar O'Brien, subject SU29TD, and his research assistant Rob Kellers concerns target interested item monitor. From Rob Kellers, Oscar O'Brien weekly logs. Here's the weekly report on items that you are watching. These are all Edition A. We're expecting a price rise again with the next set release. I know you had your eye on the Weber one for a while. Maybe now it's time to grab it since you like the artist so much. We should get together and actually play sometime soon. It's been too long and this new set looks fun. So they're playing some kind of trading card game. You're glad they came in today. You're checking out, Cultist Simulator dude is playing online. Let me see what he's up to at 3:44 a.m. your time. You will stick around. Okay, that's really cool. Obviously, so I'll just let you know ahead of time. Like, I'm always happy. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Initiated.
Yeah, so I will let you know, like, I'm just playing the tutorial right now. So I obviously want to keep you around as long as I can. But you know, I should just say it's going to be, like I said, kind of an indulgent stream for me, just because obviously one does not normally associate like a ton of tutorial content to be the big draw. But I find this really engaging, and the tutorial, like, one, I'm learning stuff, but number two, it is kind of neat to see all this. So. Am I missing something here? Oh, right. Oh, it's co-op multiplayer. That is very attractive.
Keyscore forensics initiated.
Congratulations, Agent. You unlocked a new set of X-Keyscore entities. You now have access to new data that will help you with your investigation. You should see what you can find by cross-referencing entities and run pattern analysis. Well, let's see what's going on here first. Audio log of radio exchange at 2032 CST 11:25:15 between Sheriff Taylor and blank. Concerns the death of Taylor and description of his attacker. This is Taylor reporting in. I'm in position within the storm. Over. Understood. Try to get some photos of anything unusual you see. Over. Will do. Over and out. 5-minute and 34-second pause. Oh shit. Come in, Taylor. Over. There's something here. Hold on. 15-second pause. I think I got a photo of it. I'll send it over straight away. The dust is really heavy right now. I'm not sure if I got a good shot. Over. Understood. Can you describe what you saw? Over. Sure, I got a decent look at it. It looked like a child. A little bald, wrinkly, dried up child. Like the body we found. Only smaller. Over. Anything else? This is good. We need as much detail as possible to ID. All right.
X-Keyscore forensics
So
initiated.
right now I've just been taking these individual folks and running. Oh wait, we already did this. My bad. I'm gonna save Kachul for last. Report header data profile on Gregory Letsky, Surveillance Team B, sent to Office of Analysis and Intelligence. Summary, we've prepared a brief profile on the subject that you tasked with surveillance. We do not know his current whereabouts. However, we were able to extract some intelligence on him based on past data available online and through phone records. We hope that this proves useful in tracking down contact information or location. Name George Letsky, employer Vandenberg Institute, assistant researcher, yearly salary and approximate home location are blanked out. Primary hobbies, handheld gaming, PS Vita, Nintendo 3DS, collecting games, poker, long distance running, relationship profile, most outgoing calls 2, most incoming calls from, and circle of friends 7.
X-Keyscore forensics initiated.
So what I'm a little curious about now is what happens if I add the a third person in. Does it just give me the same information that I have before if there's a direct connection? Yeah, okay, so in this case, this is less informative because I've already got these 2 mission reports. But I bet I'm going to find something if I add the new guy. And I think it was John Taylor was the one who perished. Okay, so yeah, this is the guy we were thinking about. Incident Opal 5 report. Incident codename Opal 5. Various locations in the Australian outback, 2008 through 2015. Opal 5 was a Class B Void Rift event. One hostile entity, several partial remnants, and many non-hostile entities came into our dimension from blank. The hostile entity, Kachel Utaus, target Lida 26, caused the death of 1 asset and at least 5 civilians before it was eliminated. The entity is thought to have appeared sporadically in the area over a 7-year period, based on the dates of disappearance of several of its victims. Target Lida 26 attacked during dust storms, which caused various meteorological, physical, and digital disturbances. Casualties, Sheriff John Taylor, several civilians, except for an unidentified individual. Okay. And
X-Keyscore forensics initiated.
Oh, sorry, wrong one. Sigil mission report. Okay. List of Void Rift enemy activity, September 1st to December 31st, 2015. So this is one thing that's neat too. If I didn't know about the Black Watchman and I was reading this and I'm like, whoa, it's not just a hacking game. There's some crazy supernatural stuff going on here. So Telek Inten, I'm not sure. Maybe Malaysia? I don't know. Toil, 31 casualties, ongoing investigation, entity not yet contained. Nance, France. Milicene, 17 casualties, entity destroyed, possible connection to case FH96WJ. Unfortunately, it doesn't list what those cases are. Salta Province, successful contact with Recon Team 17. Victoria, ongoing investigation, 23 casualties. Jining, Tatui, entity banished, full damage to region unknown. Outback, Kachil, Utaus, this is the one we were looking at. Local asset, John Taylor killed, entity destroyed. Lycit, Belphobie, unknown cause of entity disappearance. Void Rift event starting in early September 2015, a marked increase in Void Rift events occurred throughout the world, involving extreme weather events and dangerous Void Rift entities. Many of these events resulted in significant loss of civilian life, and one Kachil Utaus incident blank, codename Opal 5, involved the death of a Black Watchman, and no more information to be found. Oh, neat.
X key score forensics initiated.
So there's one thing I want to test really quick. I want to see if there's any connection. Partial relations detections. Forensic analysis detected partial relation between the entities. You should try to run the analysis in combination with another entity. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to clear all this out. We'll take a look for Sigil, and then we're going to add the people we know who were involved in that. Okay. Huh. There we go. Eventually I figured it out. Sigil Eyes Only, Project Overmind Top Secret. Subject Theta Rift Capture Report, Field Report and Observations. Rift Intercept Squad was assembled from seasoned Sigil field agents and received special training for intercept operation. The squad made contact with Subject Theta as soon as she entered the Rift. Agents fired on Subject with tranquilizer bullets, but they were deflected. Several casualties were sustained as Subject fought back. Sharpshooter fired on Theta and hit right shoulder, incapacitating them. They were restrained and given additional sedatives to ensure safe transport back to the research site. Stealth technology proved effective in the field. Black Watchman equipment did not detect our squad. Requests threat level for Black Watchmen be elevated as they may try to retrieve the subject in the future. Project Overmind entry. Subject Theta will make a fine addition to the Project Overmind program. We expect that their unique abilities could provide valuable insights into rift manipulation abilities in human subjects. As a high-value subject, they should be contained in the most secure research facility for the duration of their time in Overmind. We recommend Taiwan. Cool. So now mobile forensics.
Great work, Agent. This is the last step of your digital forensics training. Agent Dillon and I prepared a little investigation scenario to test what you've learned so far.
So if you go for Whiskey Ego, Karen, I might go for one myself.
Let's start by investigating a new employee at cyberdynegroup.net. We stole... borrowed his laptop and uploaded its contents to X-Keyscore. You've already got access to their network, so open your Turbine C2 registry and connect to the Cyberdyne network. It's the first icon on the lower middle of your screen. The registry shows all the networks you can access thanks to your work with Fox Acid. Locate the network card you want to use and click Connect to VPN. Your remote address at the top corner of your screen will change to Cyberdyne. This means any web navigation or attacks you carry out will look like it's coming from inside their own network. Neat, right? Use XKeyscore to find intel about the location of the main corporate file server. Once you found it, run a fingerprint attack against the server.
Oh, okay, this is actually kind of neat. So in this case, yeah, I like how all these different systems are bouncing off of each other in terms of how we're achieving our goals. So whiskey it is. All right, I'll at least finish this mission first. I actually needed to take I needed to go to the bathroom anyway. So Cyberdyne group. I have to do some kind of a connection, so yeah, so this is all we really have. Employee record. Congratulations, Agent. You unlocked a new set of XKeyscore entries. You now have access to new data that will help you with your investigation. You should see what you can find by cross-referencing entities and run pattern analysis. So first of all, employee record short form, Sasha Brewster, 290997, data analysis, chief analyst, manager John Dyson, Sunnyvale facility, September 14th, 2016. Sasha Brewster continues to excel in her position, regularly meeting deadlines and providing high-quality analysis, which is vital to several ongoing research projects. On her next performance review, scheduled for December 14th, she is eligible to receive a 15% raise and should be asked to move into a management role within her division. For a more detailed employee record, please contact the Human Resources Department. So
XKeyscore forensics.
we'll add her boss inside there. Official employee welcome kit. Dear Sasha, welcome to Cyberdyne Group. We are delighted you will be joining our organization as a member of our data analysis team. Please arrive at 8 a.m. on Monday, September 14th at our downtown Sunnyvale office and ask at reception for us. We're on the 8th floor of the building. You can park nearby at the downtown Sunnyvale parking lot. Please access the file server with the credentials below to explore what makes Cyberdyne Group unique. The resources available to you as a new employee, the resources available to you as a new employee. Be sure to review the health benefits plan and to be sure to select the best option for your needs. URL snetcyberdynegroup.net, username sbrewster. Additionally, before you arrive on the 14th, please pick up your new company phone from one of our retail partners. Ask for the specific information below in order to ensure that you are given the correct phone. You can find a list of retailers within the file server under the title Partnered Retail Outlets. Model LG G7, LG provider Verizon, MAC address 6A 7D 69 64 51 56. Android, the Human Resources team is here to support you throughout the onboarding process. Please let us know. Please know that you can call on any of us to assist you. So.
Turbine C2 registry initiated.
We'll connect through the Cyberdyne group.
Connection completed.
Run a fingerprint.
Information gathering module initiated.
So I'm assuming we're looking at SNet.
Awesome! We now know the server location. It's not vulnerable, so you gotta access the server legitimately. We have the employee username, but running a password attack is risky. If we get caught, we'll lose the opportunity to plant our malware. According to the intel you found, the employee has a corporate-issued cell phone. Go to the network intrusion menu and launch the phone CID backdoor. Use the intel you identified in XKeyscore and enter the cell phone's unique MAC address and vendor name. Then, investigate the phone to find the password.
Neat.
Network intrusion module initiated.
It'd be neat if you could like highlight this stuff, but I can completely understand why you don't. So 6A 7D. Why am I doing semicolons? 64, 51, 56. Nonsense. 6A, 7D, 69, 64. Oh, 51, not. I don't think that's what that person looks like, but all right. So we're looking for a password. There's a house, one enters it blind and comes out seeing. What is it? Oh, god damn it.
Looks like we have what we need to upload the mower. Did you figure out the riddle? There is a house. One enters it blind and comes out seeing. What is it? It's one of the oldest riddles in the world. A version of it was found etched into a clay tablet found in Sumer, dating from 18th century BC. Humanity has had almost 4,000 years to solve it, but I'm only giving you 5 more seconds. Time's up. The answer is school. We enter school blind, without knowledge, and come out the other side a learned scholar, able to see the world. Clever, right? I'm a sucker for ancient Sumeria. Well, actually all of Mesopotamia. Anytime you want to chat Bronze Age civilizations, I'm your guy. But I won't always be here to help you with stuff like this. So from time to time, you'll have to leave the Stinger OS to do some research in the real world or online. Let's hope Sasha Brewster didn't change her temporary password. Open the file browser and use her credentials to connect to the Cyberdyne group file server. Then upload the malware and get the hell out of there.
So you might say that Agent Dylan's a fan of Sargon of Akkad? Sorry. Let me just make sure we're still connected.
C2
Yeah.
registry initiated. Turbine C2 network disconnected.
Cool. Okay, I don't know how clear this is over the stream, but this is really engaging. I'll try and be a little bit better at vocalizing like what I'm thinking at the time. I just want to make sure that. Okay. So we only have 6 more. And then we'll be ready to go. Actually, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to take a quick second just to grab a beverage. I will be back in just a moment. I won't even put up the list or anything like that. But I'll see you guys in like 45 seconds. Well, that's good timing, Ego, because I quite literally just got my whiskey and sat down at the PC again, but I need to get my headphones on, so sorry about the wait. All right, so this is the last set, social engineering, so presumably we're going to be chatting to people and trying to get them to give up information. For those of you curious on so this is a little bit of a warm glass, but that's fine because I never have like on the rocks or anything like that. But this is the Game of Thrones Lagavulin that I have in front of me. It's like the 9-year instead of the 18. So
you're the new recruit that got everyone talking? Good to finally meet you. Sergeant Wheeler recommended you for the Network Intrusion certification, and that's my specialty. My name is Agent Patricia Conway, and I'm here to show you the ropes. Don't mind Agent Dillon if he seems a little jumpy about this certification. He's just stressed out. He's taken a shine to you and he doesn't want to see you fail. And well, not all recruits make it through this one. So be sure to pay attention so we can get you certified and calm his nerves a bit. Got it? Good. We're focusing today on simple manipulation, one of the most powerful tools for any successful operative. I'll show you what you need to do to trick your target into performing actions that compromise their own security, to get them to open infected email attachments, give their passwords to fake login screens. You know, the good stuff. Now, if you want to be smart about this, read up on the reference material I've included on the topic before you go any further. But if you're true to your reputation, you'll probably just ignore that and jump right in. Your choice. Just don't say I didn't warn you.
well, you know what? I'm sorry, guys, but I'm not going to let the game challenge me that way. So let me just bring up the editor. Okay. Just got to rearrange this. I realize this is probably hard for everyone to read. I don't know if there's a fast... Okay, this will work. Set package description. The Social Engineer Toolkit is an open source penetration testing framework designed for social engineering. Set has a number of custom attack vectors that allow you to make